So you know what I love about this time of the year? No, not the fact that autumn is on the horizon, as are the change of seasons. I love the fact you can start talking about sleepers. You just sling that word out there and start a conversation with another fantasy football nut, and you see where it goes. I'm Matt Levine. Welcome to my YouTube station. Please go ahead and subscribe. So here's what I'm going to do. I like to take small, bite-sized chunks when it comes to assessing the roadmap of what's out there with the dearth of talent in the fantasy universe. So I take it in threes. So I'm going to go tight end, wide receiver, running back right now for sleepers. And just guys that I think I give you enough information, you might know about them already, but that you can throw in your back pocket that may help you as your team, of course, embraces another campaign and embarks on what I hope for you, except if you're in one of my respective leagues, is a championship league. Oh, the hope right now springs eternal. Let's tell you about the sleepers. First one, tight end. Guy you may know about because he's been in the NFL. Rookie last year, Mark Andrews for the Baltimore Ravens. I have him on my dynasty squad. Liked what I saw from him last year as the Baltimore Ravens offense was, of course, one literally transitioning on the fly game to game with the passing of the throne from Joe Flacco to the young Lamar Jackson. And Lamar Jackson meant a lot of run, run, run. So I think this year they will modify the offense. That's what Coach Harbaugh and company are talking about, to include some passing and show Jackson's skills. Can he pass in the NFL? I think so, but in small, bite-sized doses. And I think a Mark Andrews could be a best friend for a quarterback like that in that offense. I expect him to have a breakthrough year in his sophomore season. I know there's some other talent. Nick Boyle seems like he's been around 20 years. He's been around, I think, like 5 seasons. But at times he has shown flashes that he can catch the ball, good blocker, good football player. Hayden Hurst, another rookie last year. Also in small flashes or doses, he gave you promise as well. He can catch. So you've got a trio of tight ends there in Baltimore to support that offense, and I think Andrews comes out as the clear-cut number one. I think he has a huge year. I think you'll be able to get him probably between the 13th to 15th round. Moving on from tight end, we go to wide receiver. Down here in South Florida, a kid who has raised some eyebrows is a wide receiver looking to make a name for himself with the Miami Dolphins. At 6'4", 210 pounds, looks like he'd be a great addition to the Heat and their backcourt, maybe shooting guard. But he's wide receiver for the Dolphins, and he played like an NFL all-star the other night. In the win over Atlanta on Thursday, four receptions, 97 yards. Led the Dolphins receivers, also this beautiful 36-yard grab. Interestingly enough, Williams went undrafted out of Colorado State. Spent 1 year with the Rams after playing 2 unspectacular years at Tennessee. And he was great. 12 games, 14 touchdowns, about 1,400 yards of receiving, about 100 receptions. But somehow goes undrafted in the NFL, now property of the Miami Dolphins. And I think he's a kid that on the Dolphins roster, which features, maybe for lack of a better term, some sketchy wide receivers, in that you really haven't seen the full potential from any of them. In Kenny Stills, and Devontae Parker, and Albert Wilson. And that goes for all 3 of those Dolphins receivers, who also have suffered a myriad of injuries. And an injury bug is liable to bite any 3 of them at any time. So I think, with that said, again, Preston Williams is going to have a big-time opportunity in the MIA to put up some numbers. Third guy I'm going to tell you about, of course, is the running back as we finish it off. Alexander Madison from Boise State University. Played 3 seasons at Boise State. Boise State, one of those teams that always puts up numbers on that blue turf. Always interested in that blue turf, right? Anyway, put up 1,400 yards rushing last year, about 30 receptions. Year before, over 1,000 yards, about 30 receptions. He's a guy that can catch the football well out of the backfield, knows how to run between the tackles, and can break off a home run at any given moment. 5'11", 220 pounds. And why I like him so much is obviously he's talented, as I just told you, but the fact that Delvin Cook, who I think is extraordinarily talented in his own right, but he's fragile, gets hurt a lot, has missed 15 games in his 2 seasons in the NFL. So you saw Latavius Murray for the Vikings, he's now departed, really thrive in that backup role. And given the number 1 status by default because Cook, again, is fragile. So I think with Madison, you don't know. He could become the number 1 running back very quickly. If not, and they get a healthy Cook, I still love him to contribute in this Vikings offense. The other night in the Vikes preseason game against New Orleans, he caught the first touchdown of the game, a 1-yard pass on a play-action play. There it is. Nice play there by Cousins. And he already contributed nicely. I think you're going to see big things for this kid who's already second on the depth chart in Minnesota. Where do I think, again, you can get him in the draft? Probably in the 12th round. Now, I think Delvin Cook is a great pickup, and he's one of those guys you definitely need to handcuff. So I'm going to get Cook. Go ahead and take the kid here from Boise State. So there are 3 sleepers that I'm throwing your way. Get ready for the fantasy football because soon, my friends, it will be a reality.